The experience of Shakti Samu in the case of reintegration and how they are doing and what is the challenges and problems are.
शक्ति समूहले नेपाली बालबालिकाहरूको स्वैच्छिक तथा सुरक्षित स्वदेश फिर्तीको प्रक्रिया शक्ति समूहले 2009 देखि भारतमा रहेका विभिन्न सङ्घ संस्थाहरूसँगको समन्वयद्वारा बेचबिखन प्रभावितहरूलाई स्वदेश फिर्तीको कार्यक्रम सञ्चालन गरेको छ। तर प्रभावितहरूको स्वदेश फिर्ती सम्बन्धी स्पष्ट कानुनी प्रक्रिया नै नभएको देखिन्छ। यसो हुँदाहुँदै पनि नेपाल सरकार प्रतिनिधि रहेको भारत नेपाल दूतावास र नेपाल महावाणिज्य दूतावासबाट भने यस सम्बन्धी प्रभावकारी कार्यक्रम भइरहेको छ।
As there is no specific policy on repatriation of trafficking survivors from other countries, but Shakti Samu is doing the repatriation of trafficked children through the help of different NGOs as well as consulates and agencies, Nepal government agencies, especially from India.
शक्ति समूहले हाल स्वदेश फिर्तीको लागि अपनाएको प्रक्रियाहरू यस प्रकार रहेको छ। हामीले नेपाल सरकारसँग पुनर्स्थापना गृह सञ्चालनको लागि अनुमति पत्र लिएको छौँ र नेपाल सरकारबाट स्वदेश फिर्तीको लागि स्वीकृति पत्र लिने र उक्त पत्र भारतको सम्बन्धित सङ्घ संस्थाहरूमा पठाउने गरेको छ। प्रभावितहरूको उद्धारको लागि पुनर्स्थापना गरेको सङ्घ संस्थाहरूसँग समन्वय गर्ने गरेको छ। CWC इन्डिया नेपाल एम्बेसी र नेपाल कन्सुलेटसँग पनि समन्वय गर्ने गरेको छ।
They have taken the permission from the Nepal government for the repatriation of the trafficking children. As well, they have permission letter from the CWC of India, and as well they are doing the coordination and cooperation regarding the repatriation of the trafficked children.
अनि अर्को चाहिँ होम एसेसमेन्ट गर्ने गरेको छ। होम एसेसमेन्ट तयार गर्छौँ प्रभावितहरूको, अनि होम एसेसमेन्ट रिपोर्टहरू चाहिँ सम्बन्धित संस्थाहरूमा पठाउने, अनि संस्थाबाट चाहिँ हामीले भ्याकेन्सी लेटर पनि संस्थाले कतिजना प्रभावितहरू चाहिँ अहिले सपोर्ट गर्न सकिन्छ राख्न सकिन्छ भनेर त्यो यतिजना चाहिँ हामीले सपोर्ट गर्न सक्छौँ भनेर चाहिँ सम्बन्धित भारतको संस्थाहरूमा चाहिँ हामीले त्यो भ्याकेन्सी लेटर पनि पठाउने गरेको छौँ। अनि संस्थामा चाहिँ केयर प्लान के हुन्छ त्यहाँनिर पुनर्स्थापना केन्द्रमा लैसकेपछि प्रभावितहरूले पाउने सेवा सुविधाहरू के छ त भनेर त्यो पनि त्यसमा नै एट्याच गरेर पठाउने गरेको छ।
She is mentioning the process how they reintegrate the children, especially from the India, and they are doing home assessment report. They will send to the respective organization as well. They have to show the vacancy letter, means how many places they have to in their organization to accommodate the children, and in this way, in this process, they have to integration.
अनि त्यसरी यो प्रोसेसहरू गरिसकेपछि यहाँ भारतको संस्थाबाट हाम्रो जति पनि कोर्डिनेसन भएको संस्थाहरूबाट चाहिँ प्रभावित दिदीबहिनीहरूलाई चाहिँ उता नेपाल फर्कनको लागि उहाँहरूले बोर्डरसम्म लैदिनुहुन्छ। बोर्डरबाट चाहिँ हामी उताबाट पनि संस्थाबाट आउँछौँ मान्छे, त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ उहाँहरूले सिडिओलाई जिम्मा दिनुहुन्छ। सिडिओले चाहिँ हामीलाई संस्थालाई हस्तान्तरण गर्नुहुन्छ र हामीले चाहिँ बहिनीहरूलाई चाहिँ पुनर्स्थापना केन्द्रमा लाने काम गर्छौँ।
The respective organization of the India, they bring the trafficked victim children or survivors to the border, and they go to the border and they hand over each other in the presence of CDO, Chief District Officer of the respective district.
यसरी हामीले चाहिँ प्रभावित दिदीबहिनीहरूलाई चाहिँ पुनर्स्थापना केन्द्रमा राख्छौँ। पुनर्स्थापना केन्द्रमा राखिसकेपछि हामीलाई उनीहरूको घर परिवारमा पुनर्मिलन गर्न पर्दा र गरिसकेपछि पनि धेरै नै विभिन्न समस्याहरू आउन सक्छ। एकदम प्रभावकारी पुनर्मिलन गर्न सकिँदैन, किनभनेदेखि पहिला राम्रोसँग पुनर्मिलन भएको छ भने त्यहाँनिर पछि गइसकेपछि परिवारबाटै विभिन्न हिंसा हुने, उनीहरूलाई मानसिक टर्चर दिने विभिन्न समस्याहरू आएर चाहिँ उनीहरू त्यहाँ घर छोड्न बाध्य हुन्छ। फेरि पुनः पनि संस्थामा आउने अथवा अन्य कहाँ जाने हुन्छ। त्यस्तो भएर चाहिँ फेरि पनि रिट्राफिक हुने चाहिँ धेरै सम्भावनाहरू चाहिँ भइरहेको छ। एकदमै प्रभावितहरूको पुनर्मिलन गर्दा पनि धेरै समस्याहरू च्यालेन्जहरू चाहिँ आइरहेको छ।
If the reintegration effectively, then later on there's so many problems it will be she or he have to face. So there will be chances of re-trafficking again. Yeah, so that's why we should be careful in the process of trafficking, and there's so many challenges and problems in the reintegration of the trafficking victim.
अनि शक्तिसम्मले 2009 देखिबाट चाहिँ स्वदेश भित्तिक कार्यक्रम विभिन्न संस्थाहरूसँग समन्वय गरेर गर्दाखेरि अहिले 15 को अहिले यो मितिसम्म आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ जम्मा 89 जना चाहिँ यहाँनेरि बेचबिखन प्रभावितहरूलाई चाहिँ स्वदेश भित्तिक गरेको छ.
Until now, they have do the reintegration of the 99 trafficking survivors from the India.
अनि त्यस्तो छ. त्यो चाहिँ अब हामीले यहाँहरूको भारतको संस्थाहरूको धेरै ठुलो सहयोगले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ बेचबिखन प्रभावितहरूलाई चाहिँ यहाँनिर उद्धार गरेर स्वदेश फिर्ती गर्नको चाहिँ यहाँहरूको ठुलो हात छ, यहाँहरूको धेरै ठुलो सहयोग छ. मलाई के लाग्छ भनेदेखि अब फेरि पनि अब यहाँनिर बेचबिखनमा परेको नेपाली महिलाहरू त लाखौँ लाख छन् होइन. अब तैपनि यतिले मात्रै उद्धार भएर भएन, अझ धेरै अझ कति छन्, अझ सबैजना तपाईँ हामी मिलेर एक भएर चाहिँ ती प्रभावित महिलाहरूलाई उद्धार गरेर चाहिँ स्वदेश फिर्ती अझ धेरै गर्नुपर्छ. त्यसको लागि तपाईँहरू हामी समन्वय बढाएर चाहिँ अझ राम्रोसित चाहिँ जानुपर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ.
She is expecting that there's till now they have some extent of cooperation from the civil society of India and government as well for the reintegration of the trafficking victims. But still there's thousands and lakhs of the victims still are in suffering. So if need to enhance and increase the more effective coordination in coming days.
बोल्न त धेरै मन लागेको थियो तर समयको कम भएको हुनाले अब म धेरै बोल्न चाहन्न. म अन्तिममा के भन्न चाहन्छु भनेदेखि अहिले यो आयोजक संस्था शक्ति वाहिनी संस्थाले चाहिँ जुन हामीलाई नेपालदेखिबाट चाहिँ यस्तो इम्पोर्टेन्ट कार्यक्रममा छलफलको लागि उहाँदेखिबाट बोलाएर यहाँसम्म ल्याएर चाहिँ यदि 2-4 शब्द राख्ने आफ्नो होइन उहरू चाहिँ शब्दहरू राख्ने आफ्नो अनुभवहरू राख्ने मौका दिनुभयो यहाँहरूलाई चाहिँ म धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु. हस् त, धन्यवाद.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak about the survivors' right, and she will have lots of things, but due to the time bound, she will expect more forums for the survivors in coming days also from the organization.
Thank you, Kaptaji. I humbly request Mr. Fabric Lucia, Police Commissioner, French Service of New Delhi.
Thank you very much. I'm not Fabrice Grossier, he's the person here, Mr. Bonnet, because we have a dualist show to propose you this afternoon. We belong to the French Embassy in New Delhi, and first of all I would like to address a very huge thanks to the US Consulate in Kolkata, Madam, a very wonderful event that you have organized, and with the help and the huge support of Shakti Shivani, who make this event a beautiful opportunity for all of us to exchange information and to inform and to create more awareness about this huge problem. I will try to be short and sharp because I know that at 4 we have another panel to discuss. But first of all, I would like to, in fact, we will present you our state of knowledge about the human trafficking in India. I belong to the Ministry of Social Affairs in France. At the embassy, I'm in charge of several portfolios from health, social affairs, civil society. So that's why in this presentation I represent more the prevention and the preventive side of human trafficking, and my colleague Fabrice will present you more the repressive side of human trafficking. But in fact, in France, we have a huge track record to defend human rights, and the president of the French Republic defends the rights of women empowerment and human rights. It's the first time in France 2 years ago that we have a French minister dedicated to women issues and to women rights in France. And she paid a visit in India in October 2013, and she had a strong interest to visit and to pay a visit of several NGOs dedicated to human trafficking and women empowerment. When we arrived with Fabrice, we had the feeling that something happened this specific topic. We were quite urgent about this subject in India, but we feel that somebody will happen with French citizens who are our main interest. So that's why we have driven a study. We have met several NGOs, we have done several meetings, interviews, etc. And we have done a report that we have given to the French ambassador of the Transparency. Thanks to this report, the ambassador decided to implement a strategy for the next years dealing with human trafficking in India, because we feel that probably French citizens will come in India to fulfill this kind of crime. So that's why this strategy is based on prevention and repressive side. From the preventive and prevention side, our goal is to create awareness. We have created it then when the French Minister of Women's Rights had a visit in India, but also we are used to be involved in to the European Union Committee dedicated to human rights, and we are at the we try to up-to-date the knowledge of our colleagues at the European Union in Delhi to keep them informed. So be sure that next time for this next meeting, I will give my own feedback about this meeting to all my colleagues from the European Union delegation in India. The second pillar of this strategy is to support grassroots NGOs in charge of human trafficking. This support, we follow this support by two things. The first, we help them we grant them. We have supported two NGOs in the field of human trafficking, both in Delhi and in Kolkata. And this is a way for us to support them. We have a very small fund dedicated to child protection. So feel free in the future, if you have a specific order or a specific need, the French embassy in Delhi, with the support of the French consulate in Kolkata, will help you to ground. As soon as your proposition is short, and we are able to understand your objective, your goal, and what is your track record also, but also your agenda. The other part of this support is to connect French corporates and NGOs. Since 1 year and a half, we have organized several meetings, one speed dating between NGOs and corporates, and another how to help NGOs to better understand corporate needs and how to improve the dialogue between these two parts. Because needs are different and means are different, but we need to speak each other, and in the context of the new CSR amendment, I feel in the future we have a wonderful highway we can engage in this sense to help both in corporate and NGOs to find and to match themselves with their own needs. So as you know, in this strategy, we have this prevention side. And regarding the theme of this conference, working together is the key points of this strategy is to work both with the police, Indian police, the French police, but also with the civil society and the French corporates. All together, we are able to combat this issue and to decrease this crime in India. I will leave the board to my colleague Fabrice, who can now present you the several cases that he has to face since 3 years, involving in the region several French citizens. Fabrice.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Once again, I would like really to thank you, the US Consulate and Shakti Laini, for giving us the opportunity to speak to you during this conference. And I will also try to be very concrete and very operational about a situation which is really worrying us at the moment from the French national security point of view. I am from the National Police. I've been posted in India for the last 2 years. And I'm mainly in charge of tackling and fighting against any kind of form of organized crimes. And what I'm going to present to you, to speak about, is how, in terms of human trafficking, the aspect of sex tourism is now becoming a major concern for us. I'm not only talking about France, I'm also talking about other European countries, such as Germany, but countries like Canada. We have just set up, and of course, we have set up a joint working group in Delhi. It is the first time that there is a joint working group involving all the police liaison officers, foreign police liaison officers, which has been setting up in Delhi on one specific subject. And the first subject which was picked up was specifically sex tourism. I've got a very short presentation, but I think that it will help you to realize what the situation is. It's just a small graph for the last 2 years. I've got a regional competence in Sri Lanka, Nepal, Maldives, and India. This shows you how, in 1.5 years' time, the situation has evolved. In 2012 and 2013, 2012 was one major case in Sri Lanka that we managed to take care of last year through a very major regulatory letter that we executed with the Sri Lankan authorities. In 2013, we had, it is really the starting point in India, and it was not far away from here because we had one detection of a French pedophile in Orissa, in Puri. And then from that on, from November 2013, we had almost, cases, one every 2 months. And now, so you see that in 2014, we had 6-7 cases at the same time. Most of them are still under investigation. Some people have been arrested in India or in France, but I will come back to that later on. And unfortunately, in 2015, the figure is still increasing. As my colleagues say, it was like the feeling that we had 2 years ago when we met these NGOs, the local police forces. We met also NGOs from Nepal who were telling us that things were occurring at the Indo-Nepal border. Just to show you that, just a mapping of the cases that we detected. As I told you, the first one was in Sri Lanka in 2010 and until last year. This one was the one in Orissa in late 2013, and after, just for 2014, all these cases. These people are, they are not, we've got evidences enough to prove that these people came to those respective countries to commit these crimes. The profile of those persons, mainly male, 50, 60 years old. Some of them, a majority of them, were involved previously in the education sector. Some of them were already convicted in France for sexual assault on children. They come to India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, either as a simple tourist, but most of them working in NGOs, French NGOs, but also local NGOs. And one important work that we had to do for the last 2 years is specifically to come to that kind of seminar and conference, to talk to you, to talk to NGOs, and to tell you, please, if you got any information, any doubt, any suspicion about one French national, one foreign national, please contact us. Please let us know. We can check in our criminal databases if this person is already known. And then, from that on, we can work with you to collect evidences. And we can also work with the local police, with the Indian police, with the Nepalese police, with the Sri Lankan police. Right now, because now Nepal is our most important spot, unfortunately, and we have very strong support from the local NGOs and from the police. We've got very good contacts. We had one case last year. The guy was arrested and unfortunately managed to bribe the family who withdrew the complaint. But we were very glad to know that a few weeks back, one Canadian was arrested there and was convicted in just maybe 1 month's time to 7 years imprisonment. So it was a very major success for all of us. Our local partners, as I just mentioned, this is just some names that I got on the presentation. Probably that my colleague from Nepal must know some of these NGOs. And of course the governmental structures. One of our central agencies is, of course, the Central Bureau of Investigation and their anti-human trafficking unit, which is a very, very important one, and we receive the support from them. Interpol also, and I mentioned in particular to Interpol Nepal, which was very, very helpful in the last few months, and the National Child Protection Agency in Sri Lanka. So, it's just the end of the presentation, but please, my aim, my goal is, once again, to tell you how we need you. We cannot tolerate French people to come to your country, which is a bit of our country now, to commit such crimes. Too many people think that coming here will prevent them from facing prosecution. One thing that I forgot to tell you is that among the 9 cases we are following now, most of them before were staying in Cambodia, Thailand and Vietnam. What we are fearing now is that the Indian subcontinent will turn to be a new El Dorado for those people. So it's very important to show to all these people how we can coordinate, how we can cooperate to arrest them, either here or in France. Our legislation has recently evolved, and now it is sex tourism or sexual fighting against exploitation of minors is the only offense is terrorism, for which we can prosecute one French citizen in France, even if he committed this crime abroad and against a foreign victim. So this is very important. The case that I mentioned previously, the one in Orissa in 2014, the second one. This one was detected actually by an American citizen who saw this person behaving strangely in a beach in Peru. He went to the police. It took some time to get the first information report, and by the time that he managed to get the FIR registered, our French managed to escape. Indian authorities were very quick. We cooperated with them. They sent a red corner notice to Interpol, so an international warrant. The guy was arrested in Namibia first. He spent 3 months in jail over there. For some reasons, the Namibian authorities let him go. On his way back to France, he had to stop to Germany. He was arrested again in Germany for some weeks. For some reasons, German authorities decided to release him. And now, thanks to the good cooperation we have with Indian authorities, we will arrest him very soon, and he will face French prosecution and French justice. So this is an example how we can work hand to hand. We have to join our common efforts, and you've got, so again, all my details, my phone number, my email addresses, that you can call me anytime, any moment. Please spread this information, but we really need you to help us to neutralize this kind of people. Thank you very much, and of course if there is more questions, I'm very free to speak to you about. Thank you very much.
Please highlight the next question.
Thank you, Prabhu. I request Miss Binu Mayagun from Anti-Trafficking, Nepal. A limited time, 5 to 7 minutes.
How many?
7 minutes. Okay.
Thank you very much, Chair. And very good afternoon, everybody. I would like to, I don't know what to do formal addressing. I would like to do Namaste to everybody. Regarding, I have not done my PowerPoint presentation due to that we have getting only less time, 5 to 7 minutes. So regarding, I would like to share only, I would to focus only the issue or topic of our session is cross-border trafficking and SAC convention. So we have, of course, I am representing here Alliance Against Trafficking in Women and Children Nepal. It is a national level network in Nepal having 31 member organizations at present, and among them 2 are in this hall, and like Shakti Samo is the founder member from the survivors, and as well one of colleagues is sitting over there. She is from Sivin. As a network, we recognize that trafficking is an issue cross-cutting, interconnecting, so we could not address this one individually as a person or as an organization. That's why we have organized a network and in 1997. And I would like to share here some of the provisions what we have. Of course, our government is also have done lots, but we know there's so many have to do. But I would share some of the interventions we have to in our country at the national level. We have National Committee Against Trafficking under the Law of Human Trafficking and Transportation Crime and Punishment Act 2007. So according in that committee, national level committee, it is a interministerial committee as well, having the member, NGO, civil society, and the survivors as well. Two of the representatives from the trafficking survivor. And admin is also one of the member representing the civil society. And we have the responsibility of Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the reintegration of the victims. As well, we have some monitoring desks in the border areas by the civil society who are monitoring the reintegration part of the trafficking victim or potential. As well, when we talk about the laws, we have some good provision in our country, like continuous hearing provision. We have, especially for the trafficking also, we have, because of we advocate this law is always so lengthy process, very critical process. So from last year we have continuous hearing process, and as well we have some historic decision by the district court as well. Like you are talking about so much about some men placement agencies, Pannala, something. Like we have also one famous case about trafficking, Bajir Singh. He got the 170 years imprisonment in Nepal because, he has died this year in 2014. That is another thing, he didn't cover that prison. As well, we have a historic case of the compensation, because we have a provision of compensation for the trafficking victim in our law, but that is not practical, because 99% the victim will not get the compensation. So our advocacy as a network we are doing that there should be compensation provision immediately by the government, and this government is voting how to take that compensation from the traffickers. So in that case, one of the district court have done the very historic decision on the compensation should be given from the rehabilitation fund of the government. So these are some of the good initiations, also some of the mechanisms we have in case of cross-border trafficking and reintegration. And of course, regional level, our former panelists also mentioned more about that, the SAC Convention on Trafficking. But even we have that, but we have only in paper, not in an implementation. So the one major thing, as she's also mentioned, we have need to first amend its definition, because that is only on prostitution of women and children. So as we, this is also one of our advocacy that first the definition should be, a scope of the convention should be broadened, as we have 11th SAC summit in our country in 2001. That time this convention is drafted, and in 2007 it was come to force, and our government is also celebrating National Anti-Trafficking Day on the occasion on 6th September, but still the convention is not working. So like we have in 2014, we had 18th SAC summit again in our country. So here, along with the civil society, admin has also advocated for the to broaden its scope, because the women and